So the contextual factors, this is the actual assignment. So the standard addressed is the teacher uses information about the learning teaching context and student individual differences to set learning goals and plan instruction and assessment. And your task is to discuss relevant factors and how they may affect the teaching learning process, include any supports and challenges that affect instruction and student learning. So part of that is you need to know about your community. So in your discussion, you are to include community, district, and school factors. Talk about the geographic location, community and school population, socioeconomic profile, and race and ethnicity. You might also address such things as stability of the community, political climate, community support for education, and other environmental factors. And so what I'd like to do, one place that you can find some of this information is at the Department of Education website. So let's go there. So open your browser, and the way I get there is I just type in Alaska DEED for Alaska Department of Education and Early Development, and that will get you here. And then we're interested in the report card to the public. So to find that from the home page, go to Statistics and Reports in this bar across the top, and then come down and you'll see we've got Alaska's report card to the public. Every district in the state of Alaska has to write a report card to the public, which basically just talks about the achievement of their students, broken down by categories required by NCLB. So click on the first link, and then you're going to go to your district. So I'm not going to use any district that any of you are teaching in. So let's just go down here and click on Cordova. So we can see that Cordova, we can select a school, we can select the junior, senior high school, or the elementary, or this looks like an alternative program. Let's just leave it on the junior, senior high school since that's what you all are teaching in. And then select the year. We want the most recent one, so we'll select 2014-15. And then we want to look at the district level first. So let's see how the district is doing. So I'll just click district level here and then look up. And it takes me right to the Cordova City School District 2014-15 report card to the public. And we can get a lot of information, the district enrollment, 349 students, and so on. We can see how many teachers and what their education is, and how many of those teachers were highly qualified or not highly qualified. That just means if you're teaching math that you've passed the math praxis and so on. Okay, and then we can find information about the attendance, graduation and dropout rates broken down by many subcategories, race, whether or not students are living in poverty, if they have disabilities, if they're English language learners, and so on. So that's just information about attendance rates, graduation rates, and dropout rates for each of those categories. Interesting information. You can study that and see if anything jumps out at you. But then you come down to the next section, and this will give you information about how students did on the statewide testing last year, which was the Alaska Measures of Progress, AMP. And it's broken down. So the screen that we're looking at is all the students that were tested in the district from grades 3 through 10. But you can also break it down by grade level just by clicking on one of the buttons at the top. But you can see how students did in English language arts. For example, here we can see that 4% of the students met the standards in English language. 4% of the Caucasian students met the standards in English language arts. 30% of the Caucasian students met at a level 3. So those are both considered meeting the standards. So total about 30, looks like about 35% met the standards. And of the Caucasian students, 38 partially met at a level 2 and 27% partially met at a level 1. So that's fairly low. So about 55%, if I add those two columns together, about 55% of the Caucasian students in the Cordova district met the standards, or did not meet the standards, sorry, in English language arts. And then you can do some comparisons, comparing, for example, to Alaska Native students. About 85% of those students were in the lower two categories of partially meeting, compared back to the Caucasian students of about 55. So you can get a lot of information about how different subpopulations of students are doing. And similarly for math, you can just kind of look at the different categories, students with disabilities, without disabilities, and so on. And you could also look at specific grades. If there's an asterisk, that means there isn't enough data. There aren't enough students in those categories to report. So sometimes helpful to look at the whole district so you have enough information there. So that's English language arts and math as measured by the AMP. And then this is science as measured by the standards-based assessment, the old SBA. And it's the same thing. As you recall, we only test students in grades 4, 8, and 10 in science. But the data is here as well, and you can take a look at that. And then finally, at the bottom, we've got NAEP data. The NAEP is the National Assessment of Educational Progress, administered across the nation to selected grades. I believe it's 4, 8, 4 and 8, I guess, are the only two grades that were administered in Alaska. But again, you can see here how students in Alaska are doing compared to students in the nation on the NAEP. Not as informative for writing your teacher work sample contextual factors, but still interesting to look at. So there you go. That's how you find the school report card. And you can, again, just go to the Department of Education and Early Development, click on the tab for statistics and reports, click on the school and district report cards to the public, and then just enter your particular school district, your particular school, and you will get quite a bit of information that you might find helpful as you write the contextual factors for your teacher work sample. Okay, thanks for watching.